Wake up, Commanders Nation! Are we really going to let Seattle embarrass us on prime time? Our franchise quarterback is back. Or is this a medical trap that could cost us the whole season? Meanwhile, our backfield rookie sensation is losing his edge because of fear, and the coaches are choking him out. If they don't act now, this offense is going to be a walking corpse. But there's hope. A veteran in the shadows just joined the practice squad. Is it a FIX or just a Band-Aid? Adam Peters is playing chess while the rest of us are praying. Here's everything you need to know to survive in the NFC. Smash that like, hit subscribe, and stick around till the end. The truth hurts, but ignoring it will destroy your team. After days of uncertainty, after watching our squad struggle without its leader on the field, after that gut punch loss to Kansas City, we finally got the news everyone in the DMV has been begging for. Jayden Daniels is back. Y'all remember that sick feeling when we saw our number 2 limping off against the Chiefs? That empty pit in your stomach when Marcus Mariota had to step in? I'm telling you, that was one of the longest weeks for any Commanders fan. Because we all know everyone knows this team is a completely different beast when number 2 is under center dot, and now, head coach Dan Quinn gave us the update we needed. He had a good rehab session on Sunday, Quinn said. The team's back at practice tomorrow and we're planning for him to be part of it. Did you catch that? We're planning for him to be part of it. Not maybe, not we'll see, but planning. But here's what really matters. This hamstring injury isn't something you just brush off, especially for a quarterback like Daniels. And you know why? Because his game relies on those legs. 61% completion rate, 1,031 passing yards, 8 touchdowns, and only 1 pick in 7 games. But that's not what makes him special. 211 rushing yards and a rushing touchdown. That's the game changer. That's what forces defenses to prep completely differently when they face the Commanders. When Daniels is on the field, defenses can't just stack the box. They can't blitz without paying the price. Because if they do, he'll break loose and rip off 40 yards on you. Did you see what happened against Kansas City without him? I'm telling you, the offense looked lost. Mariota did what he could full respect, but it's not the same. He doesn't have that chemistry with Terry McLaurin. He doesn't have that telepathic connection with Deebo Samuel. He doesn't have that play-extending magic that Daniels brings dot. And now we've got Seattle coming up. A prime-time game. A must-win if we want to stay in the NFC playoff hunt. And guess what? The Seahawks struggle against mobile quarterbacks. They can't handle guys who extend plays. They get cooked by quarterbacks who can run. But here's the million-dollar question. Should Daniels play this Sunday? Because practicing on Wednesday is one thing, but being ready to go full throttle for 60 minutes of NFL football against a hungry Seattle defense is a whole different story. I think Dan Quinn and the medical staff are going to be super cautious. They know this isn't just a game. This is the whole season. If Daniels rushes back and makes it worse, we could be talking about losing our franchise quarterback for the rest of the year. And that would be a disaster. But at the same time, I gotta ask you this. Can the Commanders afford to drop another game with Mariota starting? Let's be real, every game counts in the NFC this year. The Eagles are rolling. The Cowboys, even when they're shaky, are still dangerous. The Niners are still the Niners. Every win matters. The key is Wednesday. If Daniels can go full speed in practice, no limitations, no pain, then I think he's got a real shot to suit up Sunday. But if there's a NY doubt, any sign he's not 100%, then Quinn's got to make the tough call and sit him one more week dot. And here's the crazy part. Daniels already missed time earlier this season with a knee injury. This kid hasn't had a fully healthy season yet. And that's concerning, not because he's soft, but because his play style constantly puts him in harm's way. He runs, he escapes tackles, he extends plays. And that comes with a price dot, so the organization has to ask a serious question. How do we protect our franchise quarterback while still letting him be the dynamic playmaker he is? Because if we keep seeing him limp off every few weeks, then we've got a big problem. But for today, the news is good. Daniels is trending up. He's improving. He's taking steps toward returning. For Commanders fans who've been waiting anxiously, this is exactly what you needed to hear. The offense needs its leader. The team needs its quarterback. And the DMV needs to see its star back on the field. I'm telling you, if Daniels comes back healthy and plays like he did before the injury, this team has a real shot to do something special this year. Because when he's locked in, this offense is unstoppable. Terry McLaurin turns into an elite receiver. Deebo Samuel becomes a nightmare matchup. And the run game opens up completely. But what do you think? Should Daniels suit up this Sunday against Seattle, or should we wait one more week to make sure he's fully ready? If that caught you off guard, wait till you hear this, because what I'm about to tell you about our rookie running back explains exactly what's been going on last couple weeks. Remember when Jayden Daniels was the best story in all of football? A 7th-round pick, number 245 overall, a guy nobody expected to make noise. And suddenly, this kid is balling, running with power, breaking tackles, taking over as RB1 when Austin Eckler went down in Week 2 against Green Bay. It was magic. It was inspiring. It was everything we love about football. A kid who got overlooked, who got passed on by 31 teams, proving he belongs in the NFL. I was hyped. We were all hyped. Because we finally had a back who looked like the future of this franchise. But then something changed. The last 2 weeks, Krosky Merritt has been basically invisible. He's not running with the same juice. He's not breaking tackles. He's not the same guy we saw earlier in the season. And you know what? Leonard Willingham from the Team 980 has a theory, and I think he's absolutely right. The fumbles. The DAMN fumbles. Krosky Merritt's had ball security issues this year. And Willingham thinks it's messing with the rookie's head. He's got it in the back of his mind that if he fumbles one more time, they're probably going to bench him, Willingham said. And when you think about his story being a 7th-round pick, not even knowing if he'd get a shot in the NFL right now, I think he's trying to play mistake-free football, and it's affecting how he runs. And you know what? That makes the OTAL sense. Because when you watch how Krosky Merritt is running now, compared to earlier in the season, it's night and day. Before, he ran with reckless abandon, like he had nothing to lose. He hit the holes hard. He welcomed contact. He fought for every extra yard. Now, he's running tentative. He's overthinking. He's trying so hard to protect the ball that he's lost what made him special. And I'm telling you, that's the worst thing that can happen to a running back. Because the moment you start thinking instead of reacting, the moment you start playing scared instead of confident, your game falls apart. But here's the thing, this is normal. This is part of a rookie's development. You think all the great running backs never had fumble issues? You think they never got in their own heads? Of course they did. It's part of growing in this league. The problem is, Krosky Merritt didn't get the luxury of a slow build. He got thrown into the fire when Eckler went down. He had to become RB1 immediately. No time to make mistakes without consequences. No time to learn from errors without it costing games. And now he's paying the price. Because every time he touches the ball, he's thinking, don't fumble this. And that mindset is toxic for a running back. Because running in the NFL takes violence. It takes aggression. It takes being willing to take risks. But here's what really ticks me off: Cliff Kingsbury isn't helping. Have y'all noticed how quick he is to abandon the run game if it doesn't work right away? Especially without Jayden Daniels, Kingsbury gets super conservative with the ground game. And that doesn't give Krosky Merritt a chance to find his rhythm. A running back needs touches, needs reps, needs the chance to warm up and get into a groove. But if you're only giving him 5 or 6 carries a game, how's he supposed to build confidence? How's he supposed to work through his mental blocks? I think Dan Quinn and Kingsbury need to sit down with Krosky Merritt and have a real conversation. Tell him, look, we're riding with you. We're giving you the ball 20 times a game. And if you fumble, we'll work on it. But you can't play scared. You've got to run with the same fire and confidence you had at the start of the season. Because here's the reality. Krosky Merritt is still on pace for 855 rushing yards as a rookie. Even with the slump. Even with the fumbles. Even with everything. That's impressive for a 7th-round pick. THAT shows the talent is there. The ability is there. He just needs to get his confidence back. And you know what else? This is a veteran coaching staff. Dan Quinn's been around the league for years. He knows how to handle young players. He knows how to develop talent. If he thinks Krosky Merritt needs a breather, he'll sit him. But if he believes the rookie can push through this, he'll give him every shot to do it. I gotta ask you this. Isn't it better for Krosky Merritt to go through these struggles now, in his rookie year when expectations are lower, instead of next year when he's expected to be the full-time starter? These are teachable moments. These are the experiences that'll make him better long-term. Look at some of the great running backs in NFL history. A lot of them have fumble issues early on, but they worked through it. They got better, and they became elite. There's no reason to think Krosky Merritt can't do the same. But here's what needs to happen. The coaching staff needs to commit to him. Give him the ball 20 times a game. Let him make mistakes without yanking him off the field. Because that's how a running back builds confidence. That's how you beat the mental stuff. And for Krosky Merritt, he needs to remember why he got here. He needs to remember that everyone doubted him, that nobody believed in him, that he had to fight for every shot. That underdog mindset, that nothing-to-lose mentality, that's what got him here. And that's what he needs to get back. Because when you look at his projection of 855 yards as a rookie, when you consider he was a 7th-round pick, when you think about everything he's done, even with the struggles, it's clear the talent is there. The ability is there. He just needs to get out of his own head. I think we're going to see the real Krosky Merritt come back soon. Because this kid's got too much talent, too much drive, too much heart to let a few fumbles define his career. He's going to bounce back. He's going to be better for it. And when he does, we'll look back at this moment as part of his growth story. If that caught you off guard, wait till you hear this, because this practice squad move might be way more important than it looks on the surface. The Commanders just brought Robbie Chosen back to the practice squad. And I know what some of y'all are thinking. It's just a practice squad. Why should I care? But let me break down why this move actually means more than you think. Chosen is 32 years old. He's been in the league since 2016. He's played for the Jets, Panthers, Cardinals, Dolphins, and Niners. This dude has seen it all in the NFL. He's been on good teams, bad teams, worked under different offensive coordinators, different systems, different mindsets. And you know what that means? Experience, veteran presence, football IQ you can't teach in a film room. Chosen can walk into that wide receiver room and drop knowledge that only someone who's been in the trenches for 9 years can offer. But here's what's interesting. Why bring him back now? Why at this specific point in the season? I'm telling you, it's not a coincidence. Because if you look at Washington's receiver depth chart, there are some red flags. Terry McLaurin is obviously WR1. Deebo Samuel's been solid. But after those two, who's been consistent? Jahan Dotson's had flashes, but he's been up and down. Diami Brown is still developing. And with Jayden Daniels out the last few weeks, the production from the receiver group has dropped. So bringing Chosen back to the practice squad makes perfect sense. Because if someone else goes down, if they need to elevate a guy on game day, Chosen is a vet who already knows the playbook. He can run routes. He can be a reliable third down option. But here's what really catches my eye. Chosen played under Matt Rule in Carolina. Rule was his head coach at Temple in college, then brought him to the Panthers when he got the NFL job. That connection, that trust, that familiarity, that's valuable. Now, Rule's not with the Commanders. But what that tells us is that Chosen is the kind of player coaches want around. He's a pro. He works hard. He can mentor younger guys. And look at the full practice squad now. You've got Sam Hartman as QB3. You've got Donovan Edwards and Chase Edmonds as depth at running back. You've got young receivers like Ja'Cory Brooks and Jacoby Jones who can learn a ton from having a vet like Chosen in the room. You see what's happening here. The Commanders are building depth. They're making sure that if something happens, if someone gets hurt, they've got options. They're not going to get caught slipping like in past seasons. I remember when the Commanders used to get hit with injuries and had nobody on the practice squad who could step up. It was painful. We'd see guys who clearly weren't ready being thrown into games because there were no other choices. But Adam Peters is changing that culture. He's building a practice squad that can actually help the team. He's bringing in vets like Chosen, who can contribute if needed, but also help develop the young guys. And you know what else I love about this move? The flexibility. Chosen can play multiple receiver spots. He can line up outside. He can play in the slot. He can be used in special packages. That kind of versatility is huge, especially on the practice squad, where you need guys who can do a little bit of everything. Now, let's be real. Chosen probably won't get bumped up to the active roster unless there's an emergency. At 32, after 9 seasons in the league, he knows his role. He's here to be insurance, to be a vet in the room, to help out in practice. But that doesn't mean this move isn't important. Because in the NFL, you never know when you're going to need that practice squad guy. One injury in warm-ups, one hit in the first quarter, and suddenly that guy's out there playing real snaps. I think this move shows the mindset of this new front office. Peters isn't leaving anything to chance. He's covering every base. He's making sure there's depth at every position, even on the practice squad. And for a team trying to make a playoff push, that kind of preparation is crucial. You can't afford to have a moment where one injury leaves you with no answers. You need backup plans. You need vets who can step in and at least not screw things up. Chosen is exactly that kind of player. He's not going to win you games by himself, but he's not going to lose them either. And sometimes, that's all you need from your depth. But what do you think? Is this move as minor as it looks? Or is there more to it than meets the eye? And there you have it, fam. 3 stories that define where our Washington Commanders stand right now. Jayden Daniels taking big steps toward his return. The brutal truth behind why Krosky Merritt's disappeared. And a practice squad move that shows how this new front office is thinking ahead. But now, I want to hear from you. Should Daniels play this Sunday against Seattle, or should we wait one more week? Can Krosky Merritt get back that underdog mindset that got him here? And is Chosen just an insurance policy, or could we see him make an impact sooner than expected? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear all your takes. Let me know if you're riding with me, or if you think I'm completely off the rails. Because that's what makes this community special. We debate, we argue, but at the end of the day, we all bleed burgundy and gold. If this video gave you some insight, if you learned something new, if you feel like you understand what's going on with our team a little better, then hit that like button. It helps the channel big time and lets me keep bringing you quality content every day. And if you're not subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? This channel is your home for everything Commanders. Deep analysis, breaking news, unfiltered opinions. Everything a real Washington fan needs. Turn on those notifications, because tomorrow we've got more explosive updates coming. And I promise you don't want to miss what's next. This season is far from over, and every day brings new stories, new twists, new reasons to believe in this team. We're a family here. A community of passionate fans who live and breathe Commanders football. And together, we're riding this journey all the way, no matter where it takes us. Remember, hail to the Redskins.